All right, good morning. Time now is 7:36. We are going live on multiple platforms this morning to keep you guys updated on our Weather Authority Alert Day. That has been extended. We first put it in place yesterday. We're keeping it in effect today and at least into tomorrow due to the ongoing drought, due to the risk for wildfires, and of course due to the Matts Creek fire on the Bedford and Rockbridge County line. Lynette, good morning. Thank you for joining us. And no matter how you're joining us, we appreciate you guys doing your part to stay weather aware, especially during this situation. I will say the good news with the Matts Creek fire, at least as of right now, is that it has yet to threaten any homes. It is yet to destroy any homes or businesses or anything like that, but it does continue to spread. This is right on the Bedford-Rockbridge County line in between Big Island and Glasgow, and it is now 3,600 acres. That's equivalent to more than 2,700 football fields. And think about it, what was it? Today's Friday. I think it was Tuesday morning that it was 150 acres. This thing has spread really quickly and by a lot. So the air quality surrounding it is the main concern. And I do know that forest officials are doing their part to make sure that this does not threaten any kind of homes, any kind of businesses. We've spoken with a number of people, however, who, as you can imagine, are on edge in Glasgow and Big Island, especially as the wind shifts and it changes direction. So let's talk about how that is changing between today and tomorrow. So here's this morning, 8 o'clock, and you notice the smoke again, especially between Big Island and Glasgow, with smaller amounts the farther north you go. But I've seen on the cameras around Lexington, Buena Vista, Natural Bridge, it is smoky out there, and the air quality unfortunately going down. I'm going to fast forward into the afternoon. This is as the wind starts to come in from the south and move toward the north. And so what you see here is these red shadings, these purples. That is really bad air quality. I mean, yesterday was rough in parts of Glasgow, Lexington, and unfortunately I expect more of the same today. Possibly as far west as Millborough, Collierstown, Goshen, maybe Clifton Forge. I know yesterday it took more of a southeast to northwest. Today it looks more like south to north, southwest to northeast. So watch out in Glasgow, Natural Bridge, Big Island, Buena Vista, Lexington, Rafine, up towards Stanton. That's where you're going to see the worst of the smoke, the worst of the air quality. I could even see areas like Elon and Afton Mountain, areas like Waynesboro seeing quite a bit of smoke today. We have a front coming through. That's going to produce a little bit of rain tonight into early tomorrow morning, and this is going to shift the wind direction. So here we are around midnight. Going to start to see and smell more smoke around Coleman Falls, around Boonesboro and Lynchburg. Let's fast forward now into tomorrow morning, and now you start to see that shift in the wind coming in out of the northwest. So this should provide at least some relief in areas like Glasgow, Lexington, and Buena Vista. But then as we head into tomorrow, this becomes a problem for other parts of the area. You'll notice that smoke plume heading into Bedford, into areas like Forest, maybe even Timberlake, Evington, Alta Vista, Huddleston, Gretna, and Chatham. So this is tomorrow as the wind starts to come in out of the north and northwest. That smoke plume is going to start to affect different areas. And you can see by, 4 or 5 p.m., it could be very thick right there in Bedford, in areas like Forest, and even as far south as Danville. Even as you head into North Carolina, areas like Eden could wind up seeing a lot of that smoke. So we'll go through this again. I see that we've had a number of viewers just join us. So in case you've missed that projection, I want to go through it again. This is the main thing that we're concerned about in the immediate future, is the quality to health and air quality. I will say that any kind of smoke you potentially see today in the New River Valley, that's from fires farther to the south and west. So that's still a possibility. It's not going to be incredibly thick for you, but it is something you may notice. Douglas, good morning in Roanoke. I don't anticipate a whole lot of smoke in Roanoke today just because of the wind direction, but still worth monitoring. So for those of you who are just joining us, thank you for doing so. We're going to go through this smoke loop again in case you just missed it. So here we are this morning, and there you see hazy, especially around Glasgow, Buena Vista, Lexington, Collierstown, heading up toward Rafine, areas like Elon, Afton Mountain. That's going to be a place that we continue to watch as we go through the rest of the day, rest of the afternoon. Notice as the wind picks up, and it's not going to be incredibly strong, but it will be enough to take the smoke and make for some really bad air quality. In Glasgow, Natural Bridge, potentially Buena Vista, Lexington, up toward Goshen, maybe even Collierstown and Millborough, heading north toward Rafine, Stanton, Waynesboro, areas like Afton, Sharonda, and Nelson County. You guys are going to be looking at some poor air quality today. That's because the wind is coming in from the south and from the southwest. So you have to think about it. Let me kind of backtrack here, and then I'll show you the projection for tomorrow. Is that during the nighttime hours, the air is cold at the surface. It's actually warmer above us. We call this a temperature inversion. And so what that inversion does is it keeps the smoke trapped at the surface. So it just kind of stays put. But as we head into the afternoon, what you get is warmer air at the surface, obviously, and colder air above. That's called instability. That means the air rises. So it rises to a point where the wind, a few hundred feet above us, starts to blow that smoke elsewhere. And so that's why this afternoon we're looking at poorer air quality in Rockbridge County, similar to what we saw yesterday, heading northward into Bath and Augusta counties, Amherst and Nelson counties. We've got a front that's going to be moving through tonight. So you notice that we're starting to shift things around a little bit. So Coleman Falls, Big Island, Forest, Lynchburg, Boonesboro, Pleasant View, Amherst, still going to see some smoke, still going to see some haze overnight into tomorrow. Then the wind starts to shift direction, and you start to notice hopefully some improvement in Rockbridge County starting tomorrow morning, but things getting worse for other parts of the area. This all of a sudden becomes a threat for Bedford, for Forest, maybe even Timberlake, Lynchburg City, Evington, Alta Vista, Seneca, Chatham, Gretna. I'll fast forward again, heading deeper into the afternoon. You can see how that smoke plume goes farther to the south, perhaps into Danville, into areas like Ringgold, Axton, Cascade. You may see and smell more smoke tomorrow than what you see out there today. And yes, that's despite the fact that we are tracking a little bit of rain tonight. So after 8 or 9 p.m., we'll see some rain coming in from the west, and it'll dissipate as it moves farther to the east. I will take any chance we can get at this point. I want to be optimistic about this, but I also want to be realistic about this as well, because in order to cure this drought that we've gotten ourselves into, we would need 4 to 8 inches of rain within a month. We're looking at trace amounts to 1/4 inch. So let's say in the next month, you need to save $40 to $80. Friday, you get paid anywhere from nothing to $2.50. Doesn't do a whole lot, right? When you put it in that kind of terms. So yes, getting rain Friday night is good. It is better than nothing, but it is not nearly enough. So I don't want us to necessarily let our guards down heading into the weekend, especially as we see the wind picking up. Again, I don't want to be a pessimist. I don't want to be sitting here coming across as somebody who's just hyping things up for no reason. But we've got to be realistic about this. This is a pretty bad drought that our area is in. Tomorrow, the wind picks up behind this system. You'll see gusts anywhere from like 25 to 40 miles per hour. So that'll carry that smoke from the Matts Creek fire pretty far. In addition to that, the humidity is going to drop as well. Fast forward to Sunday, no, the wind's not quite as strong, but it's still there, and the humidity is still going to be very low. Now, I want to point toward a little bit more optimism. Again, I want to be realistic with you guys. I don't want to be a total pessimist because I do think there's a sign of hope heading into Tuesday. And we've got this system that is going to go down into the Gulf essentially and grab that moisture, and it'll throw it our way. So heading into Tuesday, there's at least the potential for a soaking rain. And that's great, because right now what we're seeing in the forecast data is the potential for more rain in one day than what we've seen in the past 1 to 2 months. So we'll keep our fingers crossed on that. Patty, thank you for letting me know about that brush fire in Henry County. You know, a lot of times A lot of times these small things pop up. We just had it happen on Afton Mountain yesterday, and sometimes it's due to like a vehicle fire. But as far as Tuesday is concerned, we're going to stay cautiously optimistic. Sometimes you can see stronger storms to the south that rob us of moisture. That's one thing we're keeping an eye on, but at least there's something to go off of, right? Whereas in the past few weeks, we've had a little to nothing. One forecast model shows the potential is there for us to see an inch or more of rain. I would love that. I know some of us are traveling for Thanksgiving, and that's less than ideal for your travels, but I would love it if this were to happen. If we were to see 3/4 of an inch to an inch and a quarter, that would be a step in the right direction, and that would actually take us somewhere. You know, it wouldn't completely fix things, but it would at least help us chip away at the drought temporarily. Heading toward Thanksgiving, temperatures in the 50s Wednesday. It'll be windy on Thanksgiving. That's why I'm really hoping that we see a soaking rain Tuesday. Thanksgiving Day, 45 to 50, cold by Black Friday as well. In case you're just joining us, time now 7:47. We've been at this for about 10 or 11 minutes. I want to go back to why we have this Weather Authority Alert Day in place, and then I'm going to show you where the smoke goes between today and tomorrow. So the reason why we issued this, we first issued it yesterday, we extended it into today and into tomorrow. So the reason for that is because there is the increased chance for brush fires and wildfires. As Patty just said right there on Carver Road in Martinsville that there was a small brush fire. We saw another one happen on Afton Mountain yesterday. A vehicle caught fire and boom, it quickly spread, and there were helicopters dropping water. The big one is obviously the one in Matts Creek on Bedford-Rockbridge County line. So that's part of the Weather Authority Alert Day. The other part is the poor air quality and how that will change between today and tomorrow. In case you're just joining us, first off, thank you. Second off, we're going to go into this forecast projection of where the smoke will be. So at night, it tends to remain stagnant because of a layer of warm air above us. It kind of blocks it down to the surface. In the afternoon, though, it's very much subject to the wind. And you see that here. You can't miss it as you look to my right. You see that plume of red, purple. That's an indication of very poor air quality in Glasgow, in Lexington, potentially Collierstown, potentially Goshen, Racine, Stanton, parts of Augusta County. You've also got the chance for some air quality issues in Big Island, in Western Amherst, and Nelson counties. So that's what we're watching today. Tomorrow, though, as a front comes through, the wind is gradually going to shift. So tonight, it comes in out of the west. That means Coleman Falls, Boonesboro, Lynchburg, Amherst, Madison Heights getting most of the smoke. Then as we head into tomorrow afternoon, you'll notice the wind then shifting out of the north and northwest. So Bedford, Alta Vista, Huddleston, Evington, Seneca, even Rustburg potentially, Forest, Timberlake, Chatham, Gretna. That's where we have the potential for some rough air quality heading into tomorrow. We're going to keep an eye on the potential for some light rain tonight, how this smoke is going to shift over the course of the next few days, and we'll have updates much like these when we're not on the air so that you guys can be in the know. Appreciate you spending some time with us this morning. It's about 7:50. Got another update coming up on the Today Show here in a few minutes. Those will run every half hour, and then I'll be back with you guys at noon right here on 10 News. Our coverage will continue by then. In the meantime, stay weather aware, stay safe, have a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.